If she wants to survive in this social circle, she better learn to fall in line.
This season, I'm coming for everything. I want it all.
Skye Squad, we are back in the building, and I feel like this is a conversation that's been a long time coming. And so I'm super glad. I feel like everything is about timing, right? So we got Chris Bassett in the building, and I have wanted to have this conversation for a long time. I never said that, but I have. And I never reached out because I was like, I don't know if he'll talk to me. But I'm glad that we're able to have this discussion. I hate that we have to talk about some of the things that we got to talk about because I think I've made it pretty obvious how I feel about these things. But I really want to get into how you feel. And you have been through quite a journey this season on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Can I just get your sense of like, I know that you and Eddie are at least cool. And I know that you went through something similar last season. Mm-hmm. Did he say anything to maybe like prepare you for any of this?
No, I mean, so speaking to the season, I'm just glad it's over. Like it's finally over. And I'm hoping that with you here, this is the last time I got to talk about this stuff. like I'm ready for it to be done. I know the fans are too. But no, I think Eddie was just as shocked as I was that this was happening. I think he even said it in the scene that we saw earlier. He said, "Wait a minute, they're going after Chris? Like he's the nice guy. Like he's been here forever." And so it was. I mean, yeah, it caught me out of the blue. Like I really did not see this coming. I know like some of the people that you are friends with. There have been some warnings and people like, hey, watch out, like this is this and this is this. And I would like to think that I'm usually a pretty good judge of character. And I'm embarrassed with myself that it took me so long to see this. I just never expected somebody to go, several people to go as low as they did. But
when this first happened, like, and it was first brought up during the season, was there any part of you that wanted to just reach out and say, hey, can we have a conversation about this? Because, I mean, I would imagine that would be your natural reaction, but it's also a filming environment. So I know that there's, you know what I'm saying? I know that you have to kind of carry the story through on camera.
Yeah. So, like, when Candiace first came and told me about the conversation at the dance studio that her and Gizelle had, my immediate reaction was, like the way that it was brought, and apparently she had already talked about it with, I think, Karen and Robin at that point. It was like, but this is your friend, why is she waiting this long? And so Candiace and I were both on the same page with that. And initially it was there, but then it was like, if we talk about this and give this light, then it's going to be on the show, and they're going to, go through it. So my first thing was, I texted one of the producers and I was like, look, I'm not doing this. I'm not talking about this. We're not going to do this. Like it's now year after year after year. I'm not doing this. And you didn't see me for a while during the season because I just wasn't going to talk about it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I think after that, I think I was maybe 3 or 4 episodes out. And then obviously Candiace had a graduation party. And of course I'm going to be there for that. But then you don't really see me a lot because I just wasn't going to be involved in it. And I think I said in the confessional, one of my biggest things was if I entertain it and if I go in and apologize, that apology is going to be weaponized. And it was. Even the half-assed one that I gave at the end of the year, you get on watch it because he was wrong. And I knew that was going to happen. And that's why I didn't want to give it any of the energy. But that also turned out to probably not be the best course of action because it was the energy all season long. So,
but I would imagine that even because honestly, when I saw it on the screen, I was like, no, don't send her anything. Only because I felt like, oh God, it could just be used against you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now I almost feel like you have to. How do you even move forward with filming and doing everything that y'all need to do? You know what I'm saying? Because now you have to. Do you have to kind of tiptoe around like any of those interactions? Like how do you feel about moving forward?
Yeah, so for me, it's really easy as the husband, and the fans will probably now finally appreciate this because it's housewives, it's not house husbands, right? I'm always in the business and I'm active on social media. Look, she gave a half-assed apology for the sneaky link comment only. We'll get into some other stuff, but that's the only thing she apologized for. And I'm the type of person, I'm going to apologize quickly, and I'm going to accept an apology if you give one, even if it's half-assed. But I see it for what it is, and I'll move accordingly. I don't have to. I'm not under a contract. I don't have to film ever. I'll film right here in my house, having breakfast with Candiace, and be just that. I don't have to go to an all cast. I don't have to do anything other than be who I am. So I don't have to tiptoe.
It's so sad though, because the men do add a great element to the show. Not in terms of necessarily just creating drama, but it's just an added element that I think is relatable to the audience, which is why I think this whole thing is so sad to me, because we're losing that element of the familial unit. You know what I'm saying?
I 100% agree.
That brings.
Yeah. I mean, Ray said it. Eddie said it. I didn't watch all of the reunion. I didn't really watch most of the season, but I know when we filmed the reunion, Eddie said it, Ray said it, myself, and G2, to an extent that, look, we're there to support our wives. That's it. Like, we're there to hang out, have a good time. And I think I've said it now, maybe 3 or 4 reunions in a row, that we're just collateral damage. The women, they don't know us, and they don't care to know us. That way it makes it easier for them to talk shit about us and then move on, because they don't know us, and it's okay, and they think it's funny, or they think it's going to be great for the show, or whatever the reasoning is behind it. But it's like, we don't have to show up to these things. We don't have to. We do it to support our women, and I understand that some of you don't have that support. I'm sorry. That's not my problem. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything. But so, yeah, it makes it difficult. But luckily, Eddie and I talk a lot, so I'm sure you'll see us this season. And we came back. I actually rode the train back from New York after filming with Mia and G, like literally 3 of us right in a row. And G and I, we both like to enjoy a beverage, and it's like 11 in the morning, and we got the whole car turned up. Like we had a great time. So I'm cool hanging out with the guys, and the rest of y'all just stay over there and don't bother me, and it's fine.
You said something earlier about people not knowing you. I think what made this situation so, I think, painful, at least from what we could see for you and Candiace as you guys went through it, was that this is somebody you did know. Somebody that, or at least you thought you knew.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit to last year when this reunion happened. In your mind, like, what was going through your mind? Just walk us through that night as you remember it.
Yeah. So everybody thinks I was pissed off at Nicki Minaj. Now, I didn't like that she put Candiace on the spot to sing. I mean, as someone who sings, and watching her, she likes to be prepared and make sure the vocal cords are ready. She didn't want to do Drive Back because it's not a song that you sing a cappella, whatever. So, yes, I had some issues there. But go back and watch some of the questions that Andy was asking. I was pissed off about that. He tried to really, put Candiace to the fire and hold her accountable for everything. Talking about, well, you're the common denominator, and it's always you, and it's this and this and this. I was mad at Gizelle and Robin for suggesting that, here's something funny, telling Candiace that words are important, and the way that you say them and the way people interpret them, it's damaging and hurtful. Fast forward to this reunion, Gizelle, well, what you're saying versus what's interpreted, the words that you're using, no, it's my feelings. It's my feelings. So you understand, but you're playing in people's faces, and it's fucked up. So, yeah, I was mad at Gizelle. I was mad at Andy. I was mad at Nikki. I was mad at everybody because I didn't like the one-sided attack of it. I just didn't. I didn't think it was cool to sit there and say, well, if she would have popped you this time, I'd have been okay. Well, I'm not mad that Mia threw a glass of drink and hit Wendy with a purse because I don't like Wendy. Well, that's fucked up. That's a small mindset to have those kind of thoughts. So I was mad at everybody. That's why when she said, oh, are you mad? We'll talk about it later. Because I didn't want to talk to you right then. Just didn't. So, but the funny thing is that clip, that's actually after we talked.
What?
That clip was at the very end of the reunion. The very end of the reunion. We talked on the break between when the husbands came out and before they went out for Nikki. That's why she asked me to go check, because we didn't know Nikki was there at that point. But she's like, oh, I know the ladies are still supposed to go back out. She was like, can you go check if they're ready for us? So you were already uncomfortable, but you're like, oh, are you mad? Are you mad?
That adds an extra element to this conversation that I don't think many people knew.
They didn't know. I've never said it until just now. I've never said it until, but that was at the very end of the reunion. And we had our conversation on a break.
So it does make you feel like if you felt uncomfortable, you didn't seem uncomfortable
ever
after that.
Nope.
Okay, so there was some discord last night about whether or not you asked her to go to the room, or whether the door was closed to the room, and whether or not there was a robe on over the dress. Can you walk me through that and clarify it for me?
Absolutely. So first she said that I was like hanging outside waiting for them to come out or whatever, and I was waiting for her, right? So where we had the reunion that year, it was in New Jersey. And so it's in this hotel. We had done it there like 2 years in a row, I think. But right outside where like the room was that we're filming, that's where all the production stuff is set up. They got tables with snacks and drinks out there. I was just getting some snacks. Eddie is actually down the hall a little bit. He saw the interaction. But I was like, hey, can we talk? And she was like, yeah, I'm on my way to my room. I said, okay, cool. That's what happened. We get to the room. She puts a robe on. She sits on the bed. So I'm standing there. I'm like, look, I'm going to leave the door open because I don't want anybody to think, anything or whatever. Just make sure it's over here. And I stayed over on that side of the room. Now, if we go back during the season, somebody mentioned, I think it was Candiace, that, well, Chris said he left the door open. She was like, well, I don't know if he did or not. But if he did, that means that he knew he was wrong. But then we get to the reunion and she's like, no, Chris, not true. Not true. No, Chris, no. Gizelle has a very well documented 7-year history on this show of not getting the facts right, ever. But now all of a sudden, because you look like an idiot, now all of a sudden you remember everything. Listen, I have said the same thing over and over. There's two people that actually, I don't want to bring them into it, but there's people that heard that that's how I asked. I did not say, Gizelle, can we go to your room to talk? That just sounds really weird to say it even now. That's not my personality. But yeah, so the door, now, when I say the door wasn't open, right? It's a hotel room, but the lock thing was on there. So anybody, because again, there's production people, walking around. We're on a break. So somebody eventually is going to come looking for her to take her back out to the stage so they can just open the door or, give it a light knock and come in or whatever, as opposed to, like I said, if the door was closed and locked or whatever, and now, oh, well, why are they in a closed room together? That's weird. So I get it. And I said at the reunion, I was like, look, I understand your feelings, right? I completely get your feelings. I'm not going to negate your feelings, but it's your delivery and what you said. And she had the inability in that moment to distinguish between words and actions. But literally, like you mentioned, the reunion before, she had no problem telling people about words and the way they come across.
You mentioned two people that knew. I'm not going to ask you who they were because I think you want to keep that private. Is there any part of you that wishes they would say something? Because I feel like no. Okay.
No, I mean at this point it's kind of irrelevant. It doesn't really mean it. I mean, for what? We're past it. We're done. I see how you operate. It is what it is. Don't ever ask me for any more food. Like we're cool. we're good. Like I'm okay. Like it sucked to go through. It was a pain in the ass. One of the other things that was on there, I mean, that didn't make it as well. Like I think I talked probably for 30 minutes straight. Andy just let me go. But obviously that's a long time for, they got to cut some stuff up. But like the part I was talking about, my kids' teachers watch this shit. Like they watch this show. So they talk to their mom. And of course I get to know what's going on. And it's like, oh my God. Like, yeah, it's stressful, but like I said, I move on from things pretty quickly. Like I said, I felt really good at the reunion, just being able to say what I needed to say and then move on. I mean, I think a lot of people looked at one scene where it was like, oh, well, you changed your story and said that you did ask her to go to a room. No, that's not what I said. What I said was, I give you the benefit of the doubt, and we'll just say that I did do that to set up that question. Like, okay, I asked you to go. You said yes because you thought your team was there. But when they weren't there, why don't you just say no? I said, oh, hey, I thought my team was here. Because that's what you told me, right? You told me that, oh, we can go. My team is in the room. It's okay. But they're not there. So, but no answer. Like, just stuck on stupid. Just giving that look.
Did y'all ever get a chance to actually talk about what you went to the, like, what you wanted to have a conversation about?
Well, I was in the room for 10 minutes.
Okay.
We had a 10-minute conversation before she was like, hey, can you go check to see if they need me? Yeah, no problem. And what we were talking about was and that's the other thing. I didn't lie about anything. Well, you said I was in there complaining about my wife. No, I wasn't complaining about my wife. I was complaining about the dynamic of the group and how if you guys don't get your shit together and all you do is fight and bicker and argue and never come to any resolution, nobody's going to want to tune in. Now look where we are this season. Nobody wants to watch because you're making stuff up. You're not telling the truth. All you do is fight. And that's across the board. That's not singling anybody. That's across the board.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling her. And I was like, listen, and this is why I want to do it in private because one, Candiace was not very happy at that point either because that's right after we came off of that. And look, production wants us to be real, right? They don't like the stuff when we get together and do stuff. And all I was saying to her was like, look, you and Robin come over for dinner. I'll cook. The three of you just figure your shit out. Like just work through whatever issues that you have because a lot of times when you get into an argument with somebody, it could be anybody, right? Whether it's Candiace and I in an argument or whoever, you're not listening in the moment, right? Everybody's just trying to get their point across. Nobody's paying attention. Well, over dinner, I always find that food and beverage are the great equalizer. You sit there, you're eating good food, and you can just talk. And when they don't want to answer, they're shoveling their mouth full of food and they're listening, right? So figure it out. You guys come over. Well, that dinner never happened. We never got there because for whatever reason, it just never happened. Candiace was busy. I'm sure they were busy. And next thing you know, we're filming. So, but yeah.
One of you mentioned something about production likes for you to keep things real. I want to compliment you on something because something just struck me. You and Candiace have never shied away from real interactions with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So if whether you guys are mad or you know what I'm saying, like you guys live in that moment. Are there ever any conversations about like, oh, we shouldn't do that? Because I just when you said it, I just had that realization. I think sometimes what we have learned over these years is like we expect this level of perfection from our reality TV stars. Yeah. And then when they don't act perfectly because they're reacting in real life, then we kind of go in on them for reacting in a truthful way that's truthful to them in that moment, which may not be perfect. And something you just said struck me that is Candiace and you and your dynamic on the camera.
For sure. So I've said this in other interviews before. I think I'm 99% sure I'm the only person on our cast who is directly from the DMV. Now, you know where we film and all that stuff. I'm the only one from here. Everyone else is a transplant from wherever. Now, Juan and Robin from Baltimore, but we all know Baltimore is not the DMV. No disrespect to Baltimore, but we have that. There's a line there. It's not the same. I have built a 30-year restaurant career in this area. And so when we were approached for the show, I told Candiace, like, look, I have to be unapologetically 100% who I am. I can't sugarcoat. I can't be fake. Like, there are these people, my friends, I went to high school here. Like, my friends are still here. I'm not going to act brand new on TV and then go to a restaurant and play in their face and be like, hey, what's going on? And whatever. I have to be real. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that's always been Candiace's personality too. And it works out for us. I mean, yeah, sometimes we have some moments on camera that look pretty cringy to everybody else, but we have a strong enough relationship where after that scene is over, right? Cameras are gone. We'll take our time apart, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it and we're going to figure it out. You go back to our very first season, that scene in the bathroom where she wanted to break off our engagement because I called her a princess. she didn't want to film that day, but production was like, well, you're on the schedule. You don't have a choice. We're filming. And she was like, I'm not going to be fake. And I was like, I don't want you to be fake. And we sat in that bathroom for 4 hours uninterrupted and filmed that whole scene and literally worked out our argument in 4 hours in that bathroom. And you guys got like 2 minutes of it or whatever, but that's just who we are. We're not going to, I get myself in a lot of trouble because there's a lot of days I don't want to film, but they're here and I'm just like, and I give zero energy and she gets pissed off. And that's what you guys see. And it's like, oh, they must fucking hate each other. This couple's not gonna last forever. And it's like, I just don't want to do this today. But that's our life. I mean, we're not afraid to show it. And I mean, it's why people love us and people hate us. And that's okay.
And it was an aha moment that I had as you were talking. And that is what has been, I think, the missing link for me is I have a better understanding of that, especially in light of not getting reality. So I want to get your opinion on not getting Robin's true story.
Yeah.
Especially when you were literally put into the oven and fried.
Right. So I go back and forth with this a little bit. I think, we all have probably things in our life that we would prefer not get out on camera. Right. That's human nature. Yeah. I don't hold anything against Robin for not wanting to put that out there. I mean, especially everything she's gone through with her relationship with Juan over 7 years. And let's be honest, I mean, the social media aspect of this it can be brutal at times. I've been on the good and the bad end. It is what it is. And you never like to read bad things about you or your significant other. Like, I'm actually more okay. You can talk shit about me, but if you're talking about Candiace, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, that's just how I am. I think you know this personally. I think we're very close to anyway. But so I don't fault her for not really wanting to put that out there. I mean, for the fans, it sucks for them because there's real stuff that could have been talked about. Yeah. I don't even really fault Gizelle for not bringing it up because that's your best friend. And if we're talking about being best friends, I wouldn't want my best friend to do that either. Where I run into issue, and was it set up? Was it talked about? Was it a plot to, we use this word plot now since like season 5. Was it a plot to to hide this? Let's talk about this. I don't know if it was or if it wasn't. It's disheartening and it's upsetting that it went down this way because it's like for like the first 5-6 episodes, it was like a new person, right? And a new story about Chris. And it was like, guys, come on. Like, seriously? And then you're gonna tell me that the editing didn't line up? Like, that's your friend. So another person who I'm not gonna name, who you are very, very close to, who is also very good friends with Ashley, who was at that party.
I know.
sent Candiace a DM, who then she showed it to me, who said, I was standing right there. That did not happen.
I heard the exact same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. So Ashley, you have been friends with both of these people, one for a year and a half, maybe 2, one for significantly longer. I'm going to believe my friend. Well, which friend are you going to believe now, Ashley? And if Ashley, if you want the name, I'll give you the name. I'll give it to you. But which friend are you going to believe now? Are we going to be editing his mouth didn't line up? Well, first of all, you can't fake. Well, he came over to me and he was flirting with me. He went under the bar. Meanwhile, the whole camera, whether you saw my mouth or not, you walked over to me and complimented me on my pink. Get out of here. Like, just stop. Like, the light, it's just so, like, if you want to be on TV, that's great, but find a different way. Find a different way.
Did the conversation between you and Ashley go on any longer than that? Because it seemed like it was just over like that.
Well, at the reunion?
Yeah, because I know that you guys touched on the alleged DM and how she felt about it. But was it really like, did you guys really dive into that? Because I felt like it was, so much of the reunion felt glossed over to me for unimportant things. And some of the important things I felt like I wanted to see more of.
Yeah, I got the same sentiment from what I did watch. No, we didn't get as in depth as the Gizelle thing, but there were 2 things that we did talk about that didn't make it. First being that DM that I sent, And so I asked her point blank. I was like, well, like, this is not the first time that I have messaged you or responded to a story. And I referred to a story. I think the date was November 11th. It's in my phone still. Also at 2:00 in the morning, that's when I'm off work. And that's when I'm usually scrolling through social media before I go to bed. And it was a TikTok of her doing a dance with her baby and a Corona. And I just laughed. And I was like the smiley emoji, I was like, get it, or something like that. Well, you responded back at 3 a.m. laughing. So it's not the time, right? You're like, well, it was the context. I was unsure. Sure, man, whatever you say. But like, and I said, listen, since I've been on this show, and I got to know everybody the first season, the second season, I would respond to people's stuff on social media. I'm an active person on social media. I'm congratulating your kids for their achievements, telling you happy birthday, your husband's happy birthday. What I giving you Robin and Gizelle content for their podcast. Like I answered a question and they put it on their podcast. Like I'm just here to be social and support because I'm a nice guy. The only person that I do not do that with is Karen Huger, because very early on, she posted something in a story. I responded to it. I forget what it was about. It might have been about Ray or something she was doing. It was a congratulatory thing. She never responded. And then I did it again, maybe a couple weeks later, and again, no response. So I was like, you know what? Maybe Karen doesn't do this, and that's cool. And I've never messaged Karen again. But if you're going to keep responding to me, I'm going to think everything is fine. Same with Gizelle. Before we got to filming this season, in December, I'd gotten off work, stopped at a local bar right across from the hotel, grabbed a quick drink, walking back to my car. I'm scrolling on social media. Gizelle posts a story of being at the same restaurant. Now, whether that was at the same time or earlier, or who knows, doesn't matter. I was like, oh man, I was just there. She's like, oh, sorry, I missed you. Heart, like the thing, but you're uncomfortable. And like, well, I wasn't going to say anything until Ashley did because I didn't think it was a big deal, but now maybe it is a big deal. And like, no, you're a liar. So yeah, I mean, it's all weird. And it's like, but now I see it. This is how y'all move. That's cool. I'm gonna just move over here and I'm gonna stay over there. The other thing that we talked about at the reunion, as it pertains to me, that I got very upset about, that the women again tried to gloss over and paint as not a big deal, the sexual assault comment that Gizelle made, where when she gets back on the bus at the winery, it's like, oh, Chris propositioned Ashley's friend and grabbed her ass. And she was like, I didn't say it. No, you said that. What are you talking about? That is sexual assault. That's not sexual assault. Do you not know the definition of sexual assault? Like, I've sat through more sexual, assault things being in corporate America and restaurants and stuff than I care to admit to, but these are things that we have to do.
Right.
That is sexual assault. Well, we didn't mean that. And everybody said it. Y'all said it. Well, no, we didn't. And it wasn't. Well, Mia said it first. Like, so y'all said it, but it's not sexual assault. Like, you're playing in my face. And this is why Candiace started to get progressively angry because y'all, like, you're either dumb or you're just messing around on purpose. And what I really think, this is what as I've thought about this throughout the season, is that I think Gizelle decided to bring this up, right? The uncomfortable thing, because I think that she thought Candiace was going to blow up and do what Candiace does and start dropping F-bombs and calling people names and doing everything else so that they could then say, see, Candiace, you're doing it again, just like we talked about at the reunion last year, and we don't want anything to do with you. But when she didn't react that way, it blew up in your face. You didn't know what to do. And then again, you're stuck on stupid. Because she didn't give any of you the time of day. None of them. Nobody. That's what I really think, how it was thought out and was going to go down. And she didn't play into it. She didn't give them that energy. And they didn't know what to do.
The way she handled that this season, I think that there were plenty of us in the audience who were kind of like jumping for joy, like cheering her on, because I think everybody expected something different. But what she gave us was a measured, you know what, like, I can't even be bothered with this. But then you look at what Candiace has going on in her life, And as a viewer, it's like you've got music, you've got movies, you've got these. I mean, these things. Her star is on the rise. Yeah. So it's like, why would she blow up at that?
And then it's a testament to our relationship as well. I mean, the trust that we have, like literally, she's been in Atlanta for 3 weeks because she's doing another project right now. It's cool. I'm here alone and whatever. And, you know, we just have that trust factor in our relationship that, you know, either one of us would be stupid to break it. But I mean, it's just like, there's things that are going to make us upset. And it's like, why are you getting upset about this? And why are you getting upset about that? But then like something that most people will be like, wow, this is serious. I need to question my husband or whoever. This could be damaging. It's like, it doesn't apply to us. Like we know who we are. Like I've been home for 3 weeks. I think I went out one night. It wasn't even for my birthday. I went out for someone else's event. Didn't even tell anybody it was my birthday and just went out to celebrate a friend for like 2 hours. The rest of the night, I'm in the house. I've been watching Vikings. Somebody turned me on to that. So there's like 100 episodes and I've only got like 40 left. So I've been busy.
I want to ask you something because you mentioned that how frustrated she got during the reunion, especially I think in last night's, the final part of the reunion. What did you make of her when she finally did blow up at Gizelle and when she told Gizelle what she did about her privilege and the way it was phrased? What was your general sense in that moment for her?
So I have been chastised over the years for not letting Candiace speak and trying to hold her back a little bit. And Ashley's actually the one who told me that I should just, let her go. This was season 6 in Chesapeake. Another off-camera conversation, late night drunk, me, Ashley, Candiace, and Karen. And Ashley's like, Chris, just let her go. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do that. And so I'm sitting there, and you can see me. I'm kind of like this, and I'm just like, oh, damn, you fucked up, girl, because she is on it. But so the colorism topic, I mean, it's a touchy subject for me as a white man to talk about. I think Andy did a great job saying, look, I don't have the range to have this. But, I have mixed race children now. Candiace and I will have some in the future. So I can't be oblivious to it, right? I'm going to have thoughts. And I actually posted something on Twitter today. Like Ashley said at this reunion, I've never made a comment about someone's skin tone. Go watch season 1 reunion because you definitely referred to Gizelle and Robin in their European features. And somebody was like, you should stay out of this. I'm like, look, I'm going to defend my wife. Like, I'm not trying to give you the definition and the examples of colorism. I'm just pointing out hypocrisy here. But, Candiace is going to say, and I have learned several times over that just let Candiace say what she's going to say, and we can talk about it later. A lot of people are like, oh my God, aren't you offended? No, I'm not offended. Again, if we're going to validate Gizelle's feelings, which again, feel how you feel, we're going to validate everybody's feelings. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's how she felt. And I've always said that. You can't tell somebody how to feel. You cannot disrespect somebody, then tell them how they should feel and police their response. I don't care who that's for. You just can't do it. Like, you don't know my triggers. I don't know yours. I don't know what's going to set you off. You know what's going to set me off. And you may think it's the smallest thing, but maybe there's a personal thing to me, right? Yeah. We can take that back to last season. Candiace saying your mother, which everyone has said on the playground and whatever. And it's not that, excuse me, she doesn't know her mom personally. It's not that big, but her circumstance, that's personal to her and it hurt. And Candiace at the reunion said, you know what? I'm sorry. And we move on. And thinking by saying that her music video is low budget. Well, she put her heart and soul into that. And that's her first one. And you're going to come in here and talk shit? It's a mess. But again, you just can't. It's tough. So I applaud her. And look, she said what she said. She was given an opportunity by Wendy. And a lot of people are trying to like, Wendy, you're supposed to be Candiace's friend. Why would you do that? I think Wendy was just being genuine and giving her an opportunity to restate the same thing, but maybe in a cleaner way, which
I gotta
she
tell
attempted.
You, I appreciated both moments, honestly, because I felt like Candiace was frustrated. She said what she said. I understood the intent, behind what she was saying. And I think most people did.
Yeah.
And I do feel like Wendy sort of saw maybe how that might sound to some people. And she corrected her in love. I mean, I feel like that's what you do with friends. Like that to me is real friendship, which I feel like something that is missing on this show. Wait, can I ask you a question? Do you feel like there are genuine like friendships amongst the ladies? Because I know the guys, I feel like y'all could just kind of like rock out, right?
It's like best friends, like with guys, like, I don't see my best friend it's like the Travis Kelce SNL skit. With the gay guy and your straight male friend, and like, guys, like my best friend, like I'm in a group chat with him and a couple other guys, and we'll talk. But like, I haven't talked to him in like months. But I could drive over there right now, and we're gonna pick up like no big deal. That's how the guys are. I mean, it's just a thing. Genuine friendships. I think the only genuine, real friendship is Gizelle and Robin. I think that's the only one. Now, Candiace and Wendy, they talk a lot. They're friends. But like other than that, I don't know. I feel like Karen is kind of like Candiace and Karen are trying to rebuild their friendship as well. And it's not in a bad place at all. But like they're not going out and doing TikTok dances.
When you see that, what do you make of it? Like, are you
Man, look, y'all have fun. Go for it. Tell everybody how good of friends you are. That's cool. Like, look, whatever. Like, go out and have fun. Like, I think I said this on another podcast. Like, the women, they all have their big group text, right, with all of them. And I'm sure there's factions of other smaller group texts. And I don't see anything. That's fine. Like, be real. I mean, that's cool. Like, you don't get along with this person. You don't want to hang out with them today. That's cool. But hey, you guys are all getting together. Okay, awesome. I enjoy Mia off camera. I think even Candiace said if Mia would just believe in herself a little bit and know that she is good enough. But honestly, I think she kind of floats over there because I think that's where she's going to feel more validated. But again, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm not going to judge you for that. That's cool. But if we're being honest, Gizelle literally just sat up here and said that you're embezzling from your company and you got nothing for her, but Candiace opens her mouth and you want to be all in it. And it's like, some things just, the optics just don't look good. And it is what it is. But I have a great time hanging out with them. So it is what it is. I'm a floater.
That's the other weird thing too. It almost seems like sometimes like they can't stand each other, but then you add a little alcohol or something, and it feels like that's a completely different group altogether. I need to see that group because that group seems like way more fun to watch.
Listen, that group, the off-camera group, like when everybody just, there's no cameras, I don't have to be something. That's what everybody wants to see. And if they would just do that, that show would be amazing. But some of them are very reserved. They don't want to project something. Like we talked about it earlier. Like they're so worried about their image and what people might think or how it's going to be edited. I know production hates that, but edited being like we're cutting out and we're showing this part as opposed to this part, right? Like whatever. I'm not saying that editing is bad. It's just you film for 4 hours, they can't show you all of it. They got cut down. But if they would just let loose and just be themselves and stop. I think Carlos King said it today, or maybe it was the other podcast, but if they would stop trying to have these gotcha moments with everybody and just be real, there would be some real drama that would not be as dark and dumb and stupid, but would still be entertaining, and it would be great. Because we saw it in Mexico, right? Everybody's all this, and this. But y'all had some tequila, and now we're showing everybody our vaginas. And it's like, where's that?
It seemed like that happened after every group trip. When the cameras go down, that's when it all like goes, like the real stuff goes down. And I feel like that's, I don't know. We need to figure that out for next season.
Right? Like, how can they just do that? You do. Listen. No, and again, let's go back to the conversation with yourself. Nobody wants to see arguing and fighting and complaining 90% of the time. Give us that 10% of the time. and then just be you. Have fun. But everybody feels like you gotta have a moment because look, let's be honest, you're on TV, you've been on for a few seasons. The check is nice. You want to keep the check, right? You want to make sure that you're still getting that. And so it's how can I do this? How can I create drama? How can I do? And it turns into where we're at now. These are all my own thoughts. I just want to say these are all my own thoughts.
No, I feel you.
I don't put anything on production or none of that. No, that's just how I feel. Like if you all would just let loose, have fun with what the platform is that you talk about real issues, but have fun with the platform, show would skyrocket. But I don't know. I'm not there.
So question for you. Before we go, I want to ask you two things. One, is there anything that you wanted to like clear up or like get out that maybe we didn't already know? I want to make sure I get your, because I know if you don't want to talk about this no more, I want to get it all.
Yeah.
Let's lay it all out.
Sure. So look, what was said was said. It is what it is. It's a shitty situation. But I maintain I did not ask that woman to go to her room. And she said it herself, I did not do anything. I want to validate her feelings of being uncomfortable. You felt uncomfortable. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that was a decision that we as adults made to have a conversation. You know what? I'm going to say one other thing that no one knows about. Well, Candiace knows and a few other people now know. But the show began airing in October. I got a very random anonymous DM in November from somebody. And again, we all get DMs from people and it's tough to decipher what's real, what's not. I did not believe this DM whatsoever. But it said that there was a producer on our show that paid money to Gizelle and Ashley to say at the reunion that when I was in that room with Gizelle, I grabbed my penis and that I actually said more to Ashley to try and get her to go to the hotel. Again, I didn't think anything of it. Leading up to the reunion, Gizelle was doing several interviews to which she said, I'm not holding back. There's more to the story. I'm going to say everything. So now I'm starting to remember this DM and I start to have some concerns. So the day of the reunion, usually the husbands, we don't have a call time till like 2 or 3 or later, but the ladies are there like 6 a.m. I go down there in the morning. I meet with some executives. I show them this DM. I say, listen, I don't believe this. I don't want to believe this. I just want to make you aware because I am concerned with some of the things that have been said leading up to the reunion. All of them assured me this is nothing. No way. There's no way this happened. We would have heard about this. Gizelle loves the show too much. This cannot be real. I said, good. I'm glad you feel that way. Makes me feel better because I feel that way. And I really didn't think anything of it until we filmed the reunion. And I don't remember if they showed this or not. But as I'm talking to Gizelle and trying to get her to explain what it actually was that I did, Ashley leans over and says, well, Gizelle, was it maybe his posture or did he like his body language? Did he say something? Pew, 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 pew. Red flags. And then at the end, at the very end of my conversation with Gizelle, when the husbands were out there, Candiace and I both asked her point blank, well, you said in your interviews that you were going to say it all. Is there more? You had more to say, but you haven't said anything. Is there anything more to say? And she sat there, she's like, I got nothing right now. Okay. So those things, they raise flags. But again, I don't want to believe that they're true. But what do you do with that information? I mean, every time that Ashley said something this season, she had that stupid shit-eating grin on her face, right? Like she would say something to Candiace, and it's like even the first time when Gizelle mentioned to Candiace and Candiace left, and Ashley's like, why did Candiace leave? And Gizelle, I don't know. So it's all very weird. But like I said, I stand by everything that I said and what I did and how I acted. And I'm glad that this is the last time I hopefully have to talk about it ever in life. I mean, it won't be, but let's hope for the best.
We can hope for the best on that.
Right. Hope for the best. But so, yeah, but I'm just ready, like I said, to close the book on this chapter and move on. And like I said, I'll act accordingly in the future with these ladies. Clearly, we aren't friends. No matter what you may have said in the past or acted in the past, we're not friends. And I'm okay with that. But again, since we're not friends, if you see me at an event, don't come over to me and try to be nice either, because I'm not going to be very nice back. And I'm going to remind you that we are not friends because you said so. And I'm going to stay over here. So please go over there.
Chris.
I know. So can you imagine, right? You film for the whole season and you got all this stuff, and it's the anxiety and the anticipation of how it's going to be played out on the show. What's the social media reaction going to be to this? Right. And so, again, very thankful to production for showing everything that they had, that they could, that sort of vindicated and validated everything that I said. I will never be too grateful to them for that. They could, knowing that they had all that, they could just not aired any of it, but that's a different thing. But I am grateful for what they did. But imagine having all that anxiety, then you get a DM like that, right? With those allegations of this is going to happen at the reunion, and it's starting this anxiety process all over again, and you're just on pins and needles, like, is this going to happen? And so to have that fight all over again and be like, oh, well, they said this now, and now I've got to. Glad it's over. Hopefully, like I say, I hope everybody's asked back for season 8 in whatever capacity that they get asked back, because I think everyone in the group has a lot of reflection that they need to do, and a lot of healing and mending. And I would like to see it, because like we just said, they can be really, really fun together if they would just be really, really fun together.
I definitely agree. Also, in the spirit of sort of healing and mending, I have to say this to you personally, because I felt like I wanted to say it for quite some time. You know, in the past, I feel like I think that some of my judgments of Candiace's reactions as a character have been harsh. And so as I have grown in this space, and you go through life and all kinds of stuff happens, and you find yourself at a different space in life, I wish that I could have gone back and given her more grace.
I appreciate that.
Just because I don't agree with a person's stance on something because of my own personal history with, altercations, physical, you know what I'm saying? Just
absolutely
how we grow up, right? Doesn't mean that I should not have been able to give her the grace to understand where she was coming from. And as a man, I want to apologize to you and to her. And I want to do this publicly, because I just feel like we having this conversation about growth, right?
Yep.
Somewhat, right? So I just wanted to express that to you and her, and I wanted to do it publicly.
I really appreciate that. And I'll make sure that, one, I tell her that you did that on your own volition and everything, but I'll let her see this as well. It's really appreciated. And I know in the past, we've talked before and haven't seen eye to eye on some things. And again, I don't know that I was ever overtly disrespectful to you, but people that you are close to, who I was, and I have apologized to those people as well. But them being your friends, I offer up the same, man. That's life, and that's what we do on these shows, man. And we have a great opportunity to look back and reflect and be able to see ourselves, maybe not in the exact moment, but after that. And if you can't grow and move on as a person and just understand, like, you don't always have to agree, right? You don't always have to say, oh, you know what? You're right. I still don't agree, but I can understand. And that's how you got to move. And I appreciate that. And so again, this has been a conversation that we've probably talked about a lot over the years from many different points in a relationship, friendship, whatever. And I'm happy we got to do it in this manner at this time. And this was great, man. I appreciate the opportunity and thank you.
No, thank you. Also, I need you to tell people, like, what you got going on, where they can find you.
Yeah. So I'm not unemployed, but yeah, So I got my YouTube channel that I'm working on now, which is going well.
You gotta send me the link for that so I can put it in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, for sure. I will. But the easiest place right now is if you're a corporate person. I do a lot of corporate cooking and bartending classes. A lot of people have been asking me lately about private events and catering. It's coming. I'm going to put a link on my website, thechrisbassett.com. I have a company that helps booking me for those, so you can do that there. What else? I know everybody's waiting on a cookbook. I know, I'm the worst. But I got a couple of ebooks coming soon to kind of hopefully hold you over until that comes out. I've got 2 spice rubs coming out as well. And then I kind of made a cryptic tweet the other day, but I got 2 other really big projects that I want to hint at, but I'm going to wait till I can just say with confidence. I don't want to jinx them, but 2 really, really big projects that I'm excited about. So hopefully those work out and I can tell everybody about them. But yeah.
Okay. I will have to get those links so I can make sure they're in the description of this video.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris, man, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Skye Squad, listen, I'm so glad y'all got to witness this. And Chris, onward and upward for next season. And that's all we're gonna leave it there.
I appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch soon. Like I said, I met your manager the other day. Great event with her and Jay.
I love Chris.
Yeah. So hopefully, we make something work. And blessings to you and good luck in everything that you're doing as well. And we'll catch up soon.
All right, same to you. Skye Squad, we are out.
Bye.
So I'm Richie Skye, the author and publisher of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire, which is book 1 in a series. This book is about redemption. It's the story of a disgraced journalist who has lost everything. And now she has to rebuild her life brick by brick. And what better way to do that than to join a reality TV show? Why not? Now, not only are we talking reality TV, so there's gonna be scandal, there's gonna be a little bit of deception, backstabbing, a little romance, and why not throw in a sprinkle of murder to really round out the excitement? So I really want you guys to dive headfirst into these books. Desiree's Desire is just the first of many to come. So I'm super excited for you guys to read this, and I want to know exactly what you think. So be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.